Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
Your 96 best place to listen to...
For 10 years.
Yes, for our 10th season of our mostly up-to-date...
And unqualified. And unrequested.
ramblings of the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello everyone, hope you all had a great holiday and enjoying the new year so far.
Yeah.
Just remember, every January started off quiet in the 20s. Just putting it out there for all of you. The quiet January has been absolutely smashed by the cricket results overnight, and we're going to talk about World Cricket Test World Championships.
Yeah.
We started the championship with the Ashes, where it was hard fought 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Australia were disappointed, but I think if you told them at the beginning of the year they would share points with England in an away series and reduce England's points total, they would have taken that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think they might have taken it after how the final two went. Well, after the third test, I guess, I think they were somewhat happy that the fourth test got rained out, because England definitely had a change in momentum during that series. It started off with Australia quite on top, but that wasn't how it ended.
Yeah, fourth test was rained out, and then obviously the fifth test, England won by 49 runs. And we've all been wondering about, will baseball work in England? Spoiler alert, maybe. It will.
It depends.
So Australia, we're looking forward to pretty much a clean sweep this summer. They had Pakistan and West Indies coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Neither team. I think a lot of people have been criticizing the West Indies. They were sending in a younger squad. A lot of their more established players, like your Jason Holders, were not able to come because they're playing T20s in Dubai. So nobody really gave them a chance, but the team did not play too badly. A lot of these players didn't play too badly in South Africa. They had an A series, because I have been listening to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Shout out to them.
Oh, nice.
And they, and obviously they lost their series to India, which was the next series in the World Test Championship in July last year. But they got a draw. There was rain, but they got a draw.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much, you can only take the results that you're able to take. Then Sri Lanka hosted Pakistan and got swept. Unfortunately, Sri Lanka do look like they're in the doldrums. Lots of problems with politics, or actually both those countries probably have lots of problems with politics in their cricket, but what else is new when it comes to Sri Lanka and Pakistani cricket? Both games, Pakistan win by 4 wickets in Galle, and then won by an innings and 222 runs in Colombo. So comprehensive performance by Pakistan in that series to take the maximum points. Now, question I want to ask, do you think if you are able to win a game by an innings, because we already penalize teams for playing for the draw, because you don't get a split of the points. You only get 40% of the point. Both teams only get 40% of the points on offer. Do you think they should implement a bonus point system for innings wins?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're trying to... well, maybe. Actually, I think.
And how much is a fair amount to give an innings win by, or is that just it basically helps the teams that get the easier schedule more, because you're more likely to get innings wins when you've got a team that's going through a rebuilding phase?
I'm actually wondering if it's promoting the right type of cricket anyway, because because you want exciting cricket, right? So you should be promoting. Well, the point system should allow for teams, or make teams want to declare earlier. And if you're saying winning by an innings gets you bonus points, then they won't. They'll, if you've got a dominant batting side, you want to bat out as much of the game as possible. give us little chance to the opposition and try bowl them out once, right? So or bowl them out cheap big bat once. But if you're saying no, you don't get bonus points there, then there's no point batting on.
Yeah.
You're just taking away time from yourself to make sure you get the win. So, actually, as I started the sentence, I was like, yeah, no, you should have points for bonus because you've done really well, and maybe an extra 10%, 15% worked. But then in working it through my head, I was like, no, wait, it's actually against what you want. You want exciting cricket, so you want to say no. You want to be chasing the win, and batting big sure is fine, but you need to declare, get them back in, bowl them out again, and then chase. If you have to chase down a small total, you have to chase down a small total.
I think you're right. Also, because there is the tiebreaker for teams that are on equal points, which is so unlikely to happen because of the percentage system that we're using, it was going to be net runs per wicket. So if you're not batting a second innings, that's always going to be higher because there's 10 wickets you're not using up.
Yeah.
So that's already a pretty decent reward for an innings victory, like in terms of in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got some innings victories, then you're going to be well ahead in that sort of department. So I think that's probably enough. As I say, you don't want a team just to bat out a test. You want them to try and force a result. So I think they're winning by an innings that's just giving a little bit more benefit to trying to stick around.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, the next series that came from Pakistan's tour of Sri Lanka is New Zealand's tour of Bangladesh. 2-match series again. Once again, it's a tied series, just like when Bangladesh came to New Zealand in 2022. Mm-hmm. The first test, Bangladesh won comfortably by 150 runs in Sylhet, and in the second test, New Zealand won by 4 wickets on a pitch which Tim Southee called the worst he's ever played on.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
It was not in the good batting conditions, but Glenn Phillips put in a performance all round to get the team in. Like, Glenn Phillips is very dangerously close to becoming a non-dirty bowler of off-spin, because it used to be he bowls dirty off-spin. It's going to be messy, but he might get wickets. But now it's clean off-spin almost. It's getting too clean to be called dirty off-spin.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Then we had the Binod Qadir Trophy in Australia, with Pakistan going to tour. Australia did a clean sweep, got all the points, won every game, quite comprehensively as well. I think the closest Pakistan came to challenging was in the second test in Melbourne, where Australia won by 79 runs. But it realistically never looked like it was going to be close. Pakistan kind of recovered from the 360-run walloping they got in the first test.
Yeah.
They'll be disappointed that in the third test, after taking a lead in the first innings, they weren't able to capitalize and put on a score for Australia to chase down.
Yeah.
Getting all for 115. So Australia looked very confident in their position in the table at that point, and then we had them the Freedom Trophy in South Africa, India touring the Rainbow Nation. South Africa won by an innings in the first test, very comprehensively. And the second test was another. What the heck pitch was this?
I know exactly.
South Africa got all out for 55. India won 153. And South Africa got 176, and India managed to chase down their target of 80 with 7 wickets to spare.
It was like 20 23 or 24 wickets on the first day or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. I forget exactly. It's 20 something, I know. It was 24 at the end of the first day. Yeah, South Africa was 29 for 4 in their second innings at the end of day 1.
I mean, you and I have watched the game at Eden Park where England were all out for 50-something against New Zealand. It was a day-night test.
Yeah.
But there was nothing wrong with the pitch. It was bad batting, so that can happen. You can have a batting collapse from batsmen just catching mistake-itis. Because Kane Williamson showed there was nothing wrong with that pitch. No,
there was definitely something wrong with the Newlands pitch. I mean, what I like is the Cricinfo summary has Newlands pitch rated as unsatisfactory.
Yes.
It seems very, very ICC. It was unsatisfactory, that pitch.
I feel like there should be some sort of control over this, because it's not fair on India to come and fight. Like, if they had lost the toss and gotten all out for 55 and, it's good. Yeah, I feel like it's justified that South Africa got a taste of the medicine that, of the pitch that they prepared.
Yeah.
But India, if it had been the other way around and they lost the toss, it would have been pretty unfair, I think.
Yeah.
Because also they don't need to do that. They showed in the previous game that they're perfect. They have a batting lineup that's capable of playing India in South African conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Decently well, and also their bowling lineup has nothing to fear. They're just, arguably in South Africa, that bowling lineup is better than India's. Even the spinners are more suited to South African conditions than India's spinners were.
Yeah, exactly.
When it looked like all hope would be lost for Test cricket, the West Indies went to Australia. They lost the first Test by 10 wickets. Disappointing performance with the bat. They did bowl pretty well to get Australia all out for 283. Unfortunately, couldn't really follow up. They were all out for 120 in their second innings, giving only 25 runs for Australia to target, which they got through in 6.4 overs. Then they put on a show. They got 311 runs in their first innings in Australia, and Pat Cummins, I have to give him credit. That was a very sporting declaration. They got 289 declared in 53 overs. So they batted at a clip.
Yeah.
And the West Indies followed up with 193, and they needed a target of 215 runs. And West Indies sensationally win by 8 runs. I think we'll talk about the individual performances because there's obviously some great ones in that series. But just as that was happening, a few hours later, England were playing in India, all out for 246. India followed up with 436.
Yeah.
So a lead of 194 runs. And England, Ollie Pope just came on. Like a guy who looked like last time they came to India didn't know how to play spin, got 195 runs. Basically, he batted till the end. Like he was the last wicket out. So at that point, he's just trying to get as many runs as possible for the Sky Blues.
We got out playing the reverse scoop, so that should say how.
Yeah, reverse scooped. Yeah, reverse swept everything, and then India. And then they sensationally got India all out for 202.
Yeah.
Like, we'll go back to the Windies because I feel like we can't not talk about the individual great performances from those players. But in England, I was watching the highlights because obviously didn't get to see too much of it live because of the time zone.
Yeah.
But India looked like England out there playing spin. They were being very tentative, playing with their shots, and I think it's one of the dirty secrets of Indian cricket is because of the way the pitches are designed for first-class cricket. They're pretty run-heavy, and you get good, which is good for developing time in the middle batting skills, like actual patience of just staying and waiting for the runs. And it means your spinners have to earn every wicket. But I think like the dirty secret is, other than Rahul, Kohli, and Rohit Sharma, the Indian team don't really play spin that well.
Yeah. I did just notice that second innings, Indian innings, the English bowlers, they opened with Joe Root.
Yeah.
Yeah. He bowled much notice. They bowled one fast bowler.
With the dirty off spin. Yeah.
So I was just looking, I was like, oh right, there's one fast bowler in the second innings. And he only bowled 8 overs.
Yeah, and young Tom Hartley, who's only got one fifer in first class, and he's only played 25 first class games.
Right, yeah.
Apparently they told him, like, before the game started, that you're our Akshar Patel, you're the tall guy, just get it into the spot, and if the pitch is a ragger, you will get it to work. You'll get the wickets, which ended up being what happened. So India played very tentatively, like in the first innings, Jadeja, Rohit Sharma looked better, but as the wicket wore down, they seemed to be getting more and more apprehensive about playing the Indian spinners. They made Joe Root look like an absolute superstar spin bowler at some point. He got 4 wickets in the first innings to go along with his wickets in the second innings as well. He got a let me just have a quick look here. He got another wicket in 6, so 5 wickets for the match.
5 wickets for Drew, yeah.
And Tom Hartley got 7 wickets sensationally in the and got 2 wickets in the first inning, so 9. So he's just getting the revs in and learning to bowl in these conditions. Rehan Ahmed kind of looked very good in the first innings, along with Jack Leach. So those are your specialist spinners. Because Tom Hartley is technically in the side as a bowling all-rounder. So he got 34 runs in the first innings, and he got he got 34 runs in the second innings, and he got
23 in the first.
23 in the first, so not bad at all. Great. 57 runs for the match to when you're batting at number 8, that's nothing to sneer at.
Yeah.
And the Indian lower order and England in their second innings basically targeted Jadeja. And because Jadeja was less effective, it felt like Ravichandran Ashwin wasn't able to get the wickets as quickly as he would like. Generate that threat. Because they were always picking on whoever was on the other side.
Yeah, always a way to go about it, right? Get the threat, neutralize them, and don't let them...
Yeah. Like, Bumrah is as good as he always is.
Yeah.
And also he got a run out, Hartley. He ran Ashwin out. So definitely a very good match all round for him.
Yeah.
And like something to watch out for. I don't know that England are going to sweep this series, but Bazball gives them a chance. As Ollie Pope said, on bad pitches, the reverse sweep is as safer than blocking.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of logic to that. You know my theory that blocking is the worst shot in cricket. Like, you should master your leave, you should only block, like, if there's literally no other shot you can play. You should either play a stroke for a single or a riskier stroke for more runs. Because at least if you're going for runs, when you're playing a stroke, it's risk for reward. Like, a block is literally all risk, no reward. There's no value to it unless there's absolutely nothing. A leave is fine because it's no risk, no reward.
Well, a good leave is
minimal risk, no reward.
Yeah.
Like very, very minimal risk.
Yeah.
If you don't know where your off stump is.
Yeah. I would say block should be there with the leave, which is to as you say, there's nothing better to do. Like I can't. It's such a good ball that I can't. There's no way for me to work it away.
There's no way for me to
I don't
leave
trust
it
to
and
leave
I
it.
can't play a stroke. Yeah. If there's no way for me to leave it and I can't play a stroke, then you block. But a lot of people blocking outside off stump, I'm just like, leave the ball. What are you doing? Why are you playing this ball outside off stump and blocking it? It makes no sense.
A little bit that is.
I can tell as a club cricketer that that's a bad shot to play. US Test cricketers should not be doing this.
I guess it comes just with the that uncertainty about whether that ball's going to come back or not.
Yeah. When South Africa played New Zealand in the previous Test series, their first match, they had 8 guys out playing a block, a defensive shot outside the off stump.
Yeah.
So basically, you're kind of gifting New Zealand wickets at that point, because that was a good batting pitch that they were playing on. And New Zealand tends to have good batting pitches. In the current meta, New Zealand is a good place to bat. Second only to Sri Lanka. Second only to Pakistan, which is too good a place to bat. Like, so good for batting, it's unsatisfactory. New Zealand is balanced but favored to batsmen. Like, it's still, bowlers can still get something.
Yeah. Especially early on.
Yeah. So there's a lot of homework for India to do, and they know what England's going to do. It's going to be attack, and England are confident about what they do. They're consistent about being confident because they got 246 and said we were overs. So you were like, what is this? People legitimately laughed at that, and especially because India then got 436, and they said, it was good to bat on, the bowlers did a good job. And you're like, okay, how much denial can you be on? And then they get 420, and you're like, okay, there's something to it. Like, they're in the game now. There's a match on now. It's not a foregone conclusion anymore. And then they got the obviously England gets a famous victory away from home. But 24 hours earlier, we were celebrating a new star. Like 2 new stars are born within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Shamar Joseph on his second game. It's an incredible story play. He's in Guyana from a village with around 350 people. So he was working in the logging industry.
Yeah.
In this town called Barakara in East Berbice Quarantine, Guyana. I have totally messed that up, I'm sure. So it's in the middle of the forest. The town mostly does logging, and he said there was not much stuff for him. He had only one black and white TV. They didn't get internet till 2018 in that village. He said, look, while they were poor, he never had to worry about things like food because there was always fishing and people grew food in and around them. But he literally learned to bowl by using fruits and then the tape bowl.
All right, yeah.
And then, he was working as a security guard and got noticed by Kurt Lee Ambrose, who was like, get this kid into a maroon jersey as soon as possible. And if you saw him bowl yesterday on one leg, you'd just be like, oh, so sweet. He looked so smooth. It was like the old West Indies times, like when you watch old videos of Malcolm Marshall, like he's not that tall, but it's all quickness and and he's got skiddy quick, which is, I think, a bit more dangerous in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because he's always going for the stumps or LBW, so it's always in play when he's got the rhythm going.
Yeah.
He had even said, because he got his toe injured by Mitchell Stark with the Yorker.
Yeah.
And he was not expecting to play. The team doctor asked him to come in, and he was like, okay, I'll come in for moral support to support the boys.
Yeah, he said he wasn't originally going to go to the grounds, then changed his...
Yeah, and then apparently the doctor gave him a tablet, which he didn't know what it was, and then at one point...
Always safe. Always safe.
Always safe. And when he got the ball, he started getting wickets. He just told Craig Brathwaite, look, I'm not going to stop bowling till I get the last wicket. And he just kept bowling.
He kept bowling like a decent pace as well. I think it was, 8 overs or something in a row of 145 plus?
He bowled a 10 over, he bowled a 11 over spell. So he literally bowled 10 bowled an over, they went for tea, and then he bowled another 10 overs on the trot with the broken said broken foot. So 11 and a half overs. So
I think those 10 and a half overs after tea at 145 k's an hour plus, it doesn't drop speed at all, which is just crazy to think about, even without considering the fact, as you say, he's on a broken foot or a non-fractured, very painful toe.
Yeah, and he was very ably supported by the rest of the bowlers. I think West Indies throughout the tour, their bowling has been impressive. Kemar Roach, always good. He's a veteran of the team, and he's a fantastic bowler. Alzari Joseph, the mercurial talent finally shows why everybody gets excited when he's on form, and he had a very useful match with 6 wickets himself. Shamar Joseph got 8 wickets for the match, 7 sensational wickets in the second innings, and obviously another wicket in the first. The West Indies fought very, very hard. Alzari Joseph also got 32 very crucial runs in that first innings to make sure the West Indies had a decent score with 311. Australia knew they had to work for their win here. Steve Smith carries his bat in the second innings in a losing cause.
Yeah.
After everybody was wondering whether or not he'd be able to open the innings, as he's slowed down and his reflexes are not getting as good, he's like, yeah, I think I should open, because he's Steve Smith.
Why not?
Why not? The only reason you consider it is he is Steve Smith, right? I think that's pretty much. Apparently, he said, "I want to open," and they went, "Okay." And then he's didn't think about it because he has trouble understanding social cues. And then when he came back going, "Yeah, I want to open," they're like, "Oh, I thought you were kidding." He's like, "No, I'm serious." They were like, "Oh, okay." It's hard for us to tell.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. As you say, it's Steve Smith, so they're like, okay, why not?
Yeah, and they said, okay, we'll think about it, and then he kept bugging them until they were like, okay, fine. Then once Joseph got Cameron Green in that fourth innings, the wickets started to tumble immediately after he gets Travis Head, who has a king pair, and then you just got that feeling that yes, Joseph was gonna have a day. Like, he was bowling so well. Like,
yeah.
It was an incredible performance. Just watching the highlights of every wicket, there's pretty much, other than one shot which was like an attempted slog by Nathan Lyon, every one of them was there's like one caught behind, and basically a few caught behinds by De Silva, the wicketkeeper, who also got scored a very useful 70 in the first innings. He was the foundation of that batting innings. Then he got 3 more catches in that 4th innings, and then basically Joseph's got bowled. There's just very little. I know it got Josh Hazelwood bowled as well. He was upturning the stumps, and it's just amazing to see. There's like the legends of West Indies cricket, like Brian Lara was literally in tears. With Ian Bishop, and like someone like Kyle Hooper, who basically is like emotionless and shows no feelings. He just was like hitting his head on the wall, hands on the wall, and like his face was like so moved. And you could see from his reactions, like, he's like, I can't believe I just saw this, and like he's obviously also in tears. It's so special just because everybody had written this team off. This isn't a team of superstar West Indian players, but it's young players, and they've got a vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
The team clearly, like, Craig Brathwaite has captained this team incredibly well. They are motivated, they're all confident, and as Shamar Joseph said in his press conference, like, he will run through walls for him, and he's gonna, and like it was, and he credited that Craig keeping him confident was what made him power through for that victory. And it was interesting because Craig Brathwaite even was like, I didn't know him till 2 weeks ago. Like, that's the first time I spoke to him. And he's like, but I knew this guy he had it in him and he could do it. And he was like, just because he was really confident. It had to come from somewhere. There's a lot of really good performances all around, I think, from this team. The West Indies, a lot of players that didn't play are going to be vying for spots. I mean, I think Jason Holder will definitely be looking to come back, and he's a player is going to be incredibly useful when they go to tour England. Well, he's useful everywhere. Like, having a 7-foot-tall fast bowler is always useful. Especially if he averages 30 with the bat as well.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to say no to that, so.
Yeah, but the team have a good chemistry, so it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward. Whatever else we can rail less. The Gabba is no longer a fortress. Is this which was more impressive away win at the Gabba? Was it this one by the West Indies or the one by India during the COVID pandemic in 2021 when they started the series with getting all out for 30 in the first match and came back?
I mean, that series itself was amazing.
And obviously Rishabh Pant putting in a performance for the ages in that game.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'd put, as an individual game, I'd put this game. If nothing, just because like, that Indian team was still a really good team. Sure, they were gone to Australia in that first game, they got absolutely smashed around. And they had to fight their way back into the series and everything, and that last game was just amazing. This is a West Indies team which nobody would have thought anything. Coming here, already got drummed in the first match, and then just to pull out a performance like that just staggers belief, really.
So now we'll just look forward to the rest of the summer, or rest of the half year.
Yeah.
Before we reach the Northern Hemisphere summer. We've got 4 more games in India for England.
Mm-hmm.
It's anybody's game. I could see England or India get a 3-2.
Yeah.
But you'd take 2 wins in India, wouldn't you, if you're England?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you may take the one win
England
that you've already got.
Yeah, I mean, England backed themselves to get all 5, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
That's, you gotta have that mindset, I think, when you're touring India.
Yes. I think that's one of the important things, is that positive mindset. You can go there and that you can win.
Yeah. It's who dares wins, and India, I do expect India to come back. I do think this will be a very close series. I see potentially, because there will be one pitch which will be a batting pitch where the bowlers will probably not get much, maybe in Rajkot. I think Dharmashala and Ranchi. Dharmashala might be a game for England that up in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
But I can't see India not winning at least 2 more. It's too. They're just too good in their home conditions. So
exactly.
I predict a 2-2 eventually in this series. It's going to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah.
Then we have 2 test series in New Zealand.
Yeah.
New Zealand playing South Africa. This is a South Africa side with 7 debutants. I'm hoping. I know that the New Zealand team are very professional, but we all know that doesn't mean anything. South Africa's going to have a debutante captaining. Can you name the last person to captain a test on debut in New Zealand?
I'm going to go with it being in New Zealand.
Sorry, there's only been one other, actually, to be fair, there's only been one other person to captain on their debut when it's not like the country's first ever test match. And circumstances like where you have a World War II, after World War II or after World War I, when you have most of the team have passed on.
Yeah, I think you actually just have a new team.
Yeah.
No, I would have no clue.
You're gonna kick yourself. It's Lee Drummond.
Oh no, I was gonna. Sorry. But I paused now. I was saying the only person I would think would be Lee Drummond, but you then went. I was too paused. I know. So now it's but that would be the most obvious one, just because he was sort of picked to be a captain as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. He was a pretty good wicket-keeper as well, but not as good a wicket-keeper as Adam Perori.
Yeah, there was better wicket-keepers,
I think.
To be had.
And not as good a wicket-keeper batsman as Adam Perori either.
No.
So they have a series in South Africa. South Africa coming here, playing at the Bay and then Hamilton.
Yeah.
Then the Trans-Tasman Trophy series with Australia coming to New Zealand. Playing a game in the Basin Reserve and Hagley Oval.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these games are day-night tests.
No,
I could be wrong.
Don't think so. Just saying.
Not that you couldn't host a day-night test in Bay Oval or Seddon Park. Both have the facility for it.
No, it looks like all of them are just normal tests or start at 11 a.m.
Normal test matches.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's 4 great tests for New Zealand to try and get some big points on the table. Australia obviously are vulnerable. New Zealand have to just hope to swing their way to victory, I think.
Yeah.
Hoping that this is the last chance for that golden generation, that big 3, to go in and get a win against a series win against Australia.
Yeah.
Haven't won a test match against Australia since 2011.
Yeah.
So it's been 13 years. We're due.
We're due. Definitely.
So that's what I'm predicting. A series win for New Zealand on both games, unless it rains.
Be nice. And without the rain, it'd be nice to have a good win. So, especially since the last 5 matches haven't really been that close. So.
Yeah, and it's technically like a double 12-pointer, a 24-pointer, because you're taking points away from Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
And Australia have a tough home series against India to look forward to before they go to Sri Lanka, which shouldn't be that hard for them. Then we go into March. Bangladesh play Sri Lanka at home. It's a chance for Bangladesh to get a good amount of points. This is their second series. Sri Lanka, as I said, are woeful at the moment, so that's the opportunity that they have. There's a lot of test matches coming up because India are hosting Bangladesh later on in the year. Pakistan are hosting Bangladesh, so they have to get these wins at home while they can.
Yeah.
Because the winning in Pakistan is going to be very difficult, and winning in India is going to be really, really difficult for them.
Yeah. Okay.
So, with that in mind, looking at the table right now, we have Australia at the top with 55 points. 3-way tie with Bangladesh, New Zealand, and South Africa on 50%.
Yeah.
Australia's on 55%, hence the vulnerability. It's not that far behind.
No.
India are on 46%, but they should steadily go above the 50s, because this is where I'm wondering. One of the flaws for the big three is they play longer series, so there's more of a chance you're going to drop games if you're playing 5-match and 4-match series versus if you're just playing a 2-match series.
Yeah, I guess the difference is that you get your percentage. If you're winning the series, you still should be above 50%. So
yeah, but winning 5 matches in a row is way harder than winning 2 matches in a row.
Yeah, exactly. The more like the 2-match series just makes it much more binary. It could be all or nothing, basically. You know? And you get win 2 matches 100%, but and you go 5, you're going to be at sort of 60, 70-ish percent.
Yeah.
So maybe 80. Get 4 of the just drop just the 1 match. So obviously it does mean they're less likely at the 100%, but they could maintain a higher than 50% ratio at the same time. So
yeah, and New Zealand do play a 3-match test series next year against England.
Oh, nice.
At home.
That's always nice to have more than just the 2 tests in a series in New Zealand.
They had an epic series which didn't count for the World Test Championship last year.
Yeah.
So, and New Zealand, this will be the 3rd time they're facing Bazball, so you hope by then there will be some plans in place to deal with that.
Yeah.
And Australia have a tough home series. Like, they've already drawn 1 home series, and they've got a series against India, which they'll probably lose, because that's what happens. That's what's happened the last 2 series in India. And India's is losing this series so far in England, but and they've not done that well away because they only won 1 match against West Indies. Sure, it's a 1-0 win, but that's taking only a 50%. That's only taking a 50% of the. They took 12 points in the first, and they took about 4 points in the second match. So instead of getting the full 24 points, you're only getting 16, which is a decent amount to drop points but those are away games. You don't mind draws away from home, but draws at home, when you're needing to draw matches at home to like level up series, that's when it becomes harder for you. The way the World Test Championship works, that's where it becomes harder for you.
Yeah,
because even in the series against New Zealand last year, they drew one of the matches.
Yeah.
In that 3-match series. Sorry, no, it was a 2-match series, and one of them was a draw.
Yeah, that's right. One was a draw.
Yeah, and they host. No, it must have been a 3-match series because they're hosting a 3-match series against New Zealand this year as well. It's a 2-match against Bangladesh. Once again, Bangladesh sneak in a single victory out of nowhere. Then India are, it's troublesome because Indian conditions are not something Bangladesh is unfamiliar with.
Yeah. Exactly.
Depending on how they do in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, they may or may not be reasonably confident against India later in the year. Lots of permutations to go on. So way too early prediction. Obviously, South Africa's way too early prediction. Who's going to be the top two, who's going to finish in the top 2 and qualify for the World Test Championship final? India also got slow over rate. Oof.
I'm going to put us there just because I can't not. One-eyed patriotism and all that.
Yeah.
I guess it's hard not to put Australia in there as number 2, really. If you take out a slot to put us in there, so I think us in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the slow over rates can get you because they deducted 10 points for a slow over rate against England, and England were deducted a total of 19 points in 3 tests. Like, India and Pakistan have both been deducted 2 points, which is fine. That might happen in the course of this tournament.
Yeah.
2 points here, 2 points there, but 19 in one series is a lot. 10 in one match is a lot to lose. That's basically if you won that match, won the test, you're only getting 2 points for that.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
And that match was a draw, so they only were getting 4 points anyway, so they got -6 points in that game.
Oof. A lot of negatives to soak up, really.
Yeah. Because only a tie is worth 6 points. It's exactly half, whereas you only get 40% of the points if you. If you get
if it's a draw.
If it's a draw. No, each team only gets 40%. Which I think is a good penalty. So this look at this. It's only been 1, 2, 3, 4 draws.
Which is
in
good.
The tournament. 2 of them are for rain, basically. Which is always going to happen. I feel like if a match loses more than 2 days with rain and it's a draw, then it should be removed from the percentages. You just don't take that in the sample.
That sort of makes a little bit of sense. It had everything taken away from you to penalizing.
Because we want teams like India and Australia to play more test matches. We should encourage that. But also, they're being penalized by playing longer. If you're more likely to get a game that's rained out. You lose a day, that you can make up for that. But if you're losing more than 2 days, you've lost more than, let's say, because it's 90 days, 200 overs in a test match, and it's ended up in a draw, then you just go, okay, this one doesn't count. We scratch it from the test, in the percentages of the
No, it makes sense. You should assuming they're keeping up their over rates during the
yeah.
time. But yeah, I think if you're losing after,
You can still penalize people for slow over rates, so you can still get negative points for your over rates, but it doesn't count as much. So this way you can still be penalized for slow over rates. So you'll get negative points in the game, but other than negative points, if teams have not been tried their best to get a result and get through their overs, then you just go, okay, this was a wash. This was literally a washout, so we don't count it.
Yeah. I think the important bit there is that they are trying to get through the overs and are trying to get a result as it was, and it's like you have tried your best. This is not on anything. There's no slow overs. No one's messing around. It's just the heavens opened up and it rain gushed down. Sure, okay. We won't count it. There's no point in keeping this either side of you. It may as well just be removed from the ledger, to say.
And it's so difficult to be behind the over rate when you've had that much rain that you should be penalized, harshly for it.
You almost have to be trying at that point.
Now, because New Zealand have been very good about their over rates, and if they can maintain the perfect sweep at home, which is not going to be easy. You've got Australia and England at home. South Africa kind of gave us a gimme.
Yeah.
By sending in an inexperienced team. Like, obviously, that'll still have to be done, and they have to get the work done. But, you'd hope that, if you can manage to get those 2 wins, you'll be confident heading into facing Australia, who will probably just come off playing T20s and also, losing to the West Indies.
Yeah. So, hopefully we get something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible 24 hours. Hopefully, we'll see an incredible next few weeks from England to follow that up. And obviously, goes without saying, hopefully the Black Caps will follow that up as well.
Yeah.
Clean sweeps. That's what we want, right?
Clean sweep summer. Come on, we can do it.
Exactly. But thanks very much for listening, and we look forward to hearing from you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.